What I find that is a common oversight, or that people commonly overlook in a real estate transaction, is that the buyer in particular fails to carefully read all of the documentation presented to them to finalize the purchase of the property. That starts, of course, with the contract. And then oftentimes before you sign the contract, you're asked to initial portions of it, such as an arbitration clause, a mediation clause. All of those provisions should be read carefully. In addition to the contract, and also depending on the complexity of the real estate transaction, you will be given supplemental documents such as a transfer disclosure statement where the seller discloses to the buyer material facts that the buyer should know. That should be reviewed carefully and read carefully. Same thing with the inspection report. If there's an inspection report, the buyer needs to read that, because they are going to be that is, the buyer is going to be assumed that they have read all the documentation should a dispute arise. And you can't rely on third parties reviewing it for you, unless, of course, they're trained to do that. So you have to read it yourself carefully. And sometimes, depending on the complexity, you may want to have an attorney review the documentation to make sure that your rights are protected as a buyer when you purchase a piece of property, particularly when you're spending a considerable amount of money.